Welcome back, everyone, to the Bears Draw Plays YouTube channel. Today is Thursday, December 19th, and I'm back breaking down some Thursday night football. We are going to be talking about the Denver Broncos going up against the Chargers divisional game, rivalry game. Should be a fun watch. Also, the winner of this game most likely guarantees himself a spot in the playoffs. So both these teams playing for something big. If the Chargers win this game, I think they were looking at 85%. If the Broncos win this game, that's going to go up to like 94, 95%. So both these teams want to win this game badly. Before we break down that game, let's talk about the game picks and player props we had from Monday Night Football. That was the Bears and the Vikings and the Raiders and the Falcons. That Raiders and Falcons game may be the worst game ever on TV for any time period. But the Bears, they are a disaster. I don't know why I keep taking them, but had them plus 7.5. Had a couple chances to cover the game late. Defense played well for the most part. Feels like it's just like every other Bears game. The defense plays well. They keep him in it. Caleb Williams shows a couple decent drives, but overall he's on his back laying down because he's getting sacked, holding the ball too long, and the offense makes all kinds of mistakes. Horrible coaching as well. So it's just the typical Bears game. The player props that we had, TJ Hawkinson, anytime touchdown for the Vikings. Had a couple red zone looks, nothing that was really threatening though for the red zone, so that one did not hit. Other one was Kirk Cousins over 1.5 passing touchdowns. First drive or second drive had a passing touchdown to Drake London. Nothing after that. Kirk Cousins also getting benched for Michael Penix Jr. So Atlanta Falcons threw hundreds of millions of dollars down the drain, but at least they drafted a quarterback, right? Maybe that draft pick was a good pick after all. Let's go over to the game for the Broncos and the Chargers. Again, both these teams playing for a playoff spot. But both these teams are pretty firmly in the playoffs, unless we see something crazy out of the Colts, maybe the Dolphins if they find a way to win out. They're going to need one of these two teams to lose two of the last three if they want to get in. But both of these teams right now in the playoffs, probably going to be the 6th seed and the 7th seed. Denver has a chance to potentially maybe get up to the 5 and have a better matchup come playoff time. But I think both these teams are pretty good football teams. I'm going to be taking the Broncos plus 2.5. And I'm going to tell you why. The Chargers, they're a little bit banged up. Justin Herbert, the ankle's bad, the hip's bad, the arm's bad, the hand's bad. This guy's had 1,000 injuries this season. Harbaugh is one of the best coaches in the NFL, and they make jokes about this, but Herbert probably goes into the training facility and they say, yeah, you're banged up. Maybe sit you out this week. And then they tell that to Harbaugh. And then, Herbert goes into the one-on-one with Harbaugh and he says, can you play? And how are you going to tell Harbaugh that you can't play? He's going to say, can you walk? Can you move? You should be on the football field. I feel like that's how every conversation goes with Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is playing well this season, limiting the turnovers. I just think he's too banged up. Ladd McConkey also coming off an injury. He didn't look great in that last game, and we all know J.K. Dobbins on the IR. So this Chargers team, they're very banged up with J.K. Dobbins out. The rushing attack has not been there. I do think the Denver Broncos will win this game. I don't think you need the points. We saw Bo Nix last week against the Colts. He didn't have a good day, 140-something yards. He still had 3 passing touchdowns. The defense put him in great situation in the second half, but we have now seen Bo Nix have a bad game, and they still find a way to win because the defense has been so good for the Broncos this season. I think they will continue to be good in this game. I think they will force turnovers. Both these teams have been decent at forcing turnovers on the season. Both these teams well coached. I do think this has potential to be a field goal game. So if you want to buy the plus, you want to buy the hook or whatever you want to do, plus 3.5, plus 3, go for it. I think the Denver Broncos will win this game outright, though. So I'm just going to take the plus 2.5 as the play. Should be a great game to watch. Defensive battle through and through. We're going to go to the player props now. We have Bo Nix over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I'm going to take the over 1.5 passing touchdowns because, again, coming off a kind of a bad day going up against that Colts defense, had a couple turnovers. Bo Nix does this thing where he really does his full Jameis Winston. Sometimes he'll have games of 5 touchdowns, 300 yards. Some games he'll have 3 interceptions and 130-plus yards passing. So that's just what Bo Nix is. I don't know if a lot of people thought Bo Nix would be this good. I was, kind of towards the camp of he's going to be good and, not overly great this season, but he's going to give the Denver Broncos a couple wins. I think he's exceeded everybody's expectations so far this season. Bo Nix is a very reliable option. I think he will be a good quarterback in the future, and with him at the helm, the Denver Broncos are going to make the playoffs most likely. So I'm going to go with this over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I do think the defense will be able to force turnovers. The running game for the Denver Broncos hasn't been great over the last several games. It's really been on the shoulders of Bo Nix in the passing game. So I'm going to go over 1.5 touchdowns for him. And we're going to go to his main target, Cortland Sutton, over 63.5 receiving. I've seen this at 62.5, but we're going to play 63.5 for right now. Also like him to get in the end zone. I'm going to actually add the play anytime touchdown. We saw him get that late touchdown against the Colts in the last game, kind of in garbage time because the Broncos defense had just destroyed Anthony. Also, Anthony Richardson, not a real human being. If you watch him play, there's no way that there's somebody up in his head telling him what to do, because whenever he makes throws, you just question everything that you believe in. You're like, why did he make that throw? How did he make that throw? And then he next plays like a 15-yard scramble, and he makes an incredible play a couple of plays later. So I just don't know if Anthony Richardson's a human or not. I'm pretty sure he's an alien. He's a super athletic guy, but he makes the worst decisions. He's like Will Levis in that way. But we're going to go with Cortland Sutton here. Over 63.5 receiving yards. I do think Bo Nix will be better in this game. 3 interceptions last week. Definitely has to cut that down. But main target, Cortland Sutton. Cortland Sutton having an up year with Bo Nix as his quarterback. And it is kind of crazy that the Denver Broncos have made this massive turnaround after being horrible for the last 5 or 6 years. Russell Wilson, the failed, science experiment that was. Everybody thought Sean Payton has lost a step. Well, turns out Sean Payton's a great coach, picked the right quarterback, and this team is thriving. Will be in the playoffs most likely. I think they're going to win this game as well. But I'm going to take Cortland Sutton, number one target on the outside, going up against this Chargers defense as the final play of the day. Let's go to the NFL recap. Denver plus 2.5. If you want to take the money line, go for it. If you want to take the plus 3 and be a little bit safer, go for it. I'm just going to take the points. I think they'll win this game on the money line. Bo Nix over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Hopefully the defense sets him up in some plus territory situations so he can just throw some passing touchdowns. Don't need a ton of yards in this game. Just get the passing touchdowns like we saw in the last week's game against the Colts. And then Cortland Sutton over 63.5 receiving yards. He did have a pretty down game. If he didn't have that 30-yard catch and a touchdown on the last drive, it would have been like a 13-yard, 2-catch kind of day for Cortland Sutton. So I do think the Denver Broncos will get him back in the game plan for this game against the division rival. So I love that play there as well. Also going to add the anytime touchdown in that game as well for Cortland Sutton. But guys, that's going to do it for the NFL picks and props for Thursday, December 19th slated games. So you guys enjoyed the content, please share, drop like this video, and subscribe channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.